So you bought the Spyderco Pair 3. Excellent choice. Now there's 3 things that you have to do to that knife as the owner of that fine blade, and we're going to go over those in this episode. Coming up. Alright, welcome back to another episode of The Journey. Today we're in the workshop and we're going to be going over some routine maintenance and upgrades for the Spyderco Pair 3. As the owner of this knife for about 3 years, I've daily carried it for just about every day that I've owned it, and I actually have yet to have to do any of these things. So, I can attest to the track record of this thing. The blade stays sharp, the action's great. The way it comes from the factory, it's pretty damn good. The first thing that we're going to get into is lubrication on the action. Now, a lot of people take these things apart and they really don't want you to. As soon as you open this thing up, you actually void the warranty. They pretty much guarantee that you're going to screw the warranty up and screw your knife up if you're not careful. They do something kind of tricky from the factory, and they put red Loctite on these screws. Now, red Loctite is, I think, the strongest one that they make, and the screws themselves are not up to the task, so you will strip it out. You actually have to heat the screws up, and you have to be very careful not to melt, any of the handle material, the G10. It's really advised that you don't have to do it. Now, like I said, I've had this for 3 years and I haven't had to take it apart. You get something that dirty that you need to take it apart, I think you can send it down to the factory and they can take care of it there. Or if you want to open it up and break it down and clean it out, you can do so at your own risk, but just make sure you heat those screws up. And also the lanyard hole in the back, that's actually kind of peened, which is a friction fit up against the handle. So you got to be careful that you don't damage anything when you do that as well. All right, so first off is cleaning and lubing the knife. Really, there's not much to do. Sometimes you get some lint in the pivot pin. So all you do is take some compressed air, try to get the majority of that out. And then you just use a fine lubricant. My lube of choice on this is just Blue Lube by Benchmade. There's lots of them out there, but I've always been happy with Blue Lube. And on this knife, you get the ball detent, which needs some lubrication, and then you can see your bronze washers there. So all you need to do is hit that lightly, and then work it in a little bit. And that's all you should really need, honestly. This is factory. I've never had to touch anything. That just falls right into place. Next you will have to sharpen it. This thing is great. It's held an edge really well, but I did damage the tip a little bit, so we should be able to get rid of those defects and get a factory edge back on this thing. Plus I have a little trick to show you on how to make sure that you maintain the same edge that came from the factory. Now, like I said, there's a couple nicks. I don't know if you can see it. Right there, right in the tip, and then just inside of that I want to get rid of. You can do a whetstone, you can teach yourself how to use one of those, but I cheat, and I figure, why make things more complicated than you need to? I actually use a diamond kit with a guide, and it makes it super simple. You can just set the guide. Now, in addition to that, there's a little trick to try to make sure that you maintain the factory edge, and what that is a Sharpie. You can trace the edge here whenever you're setting up your guide, and that way you make sure that, as you sharpen it and you see that Sharpie go away, you know that you've matched the angle properly. So let me do that here. So I've essentially covered that whole edge now. As you set up your guide, you want to make sure that you get a pattern that takes that black off consistently. And once you've done that, then you've set up your guide and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So we're going to start on the most coarse and go to the most fine every step of the way. And at the end, this thing is going to be razor sharp, probably sharper than factory. Now, with this kit, with the diamond stones, all you need to do is use water for a lubricant, which is one major advantage in my opinion. A lot cleaner. Now, as you can see, I'm going a little too aggressive with this, so I need to go one more step down. I'll move this closer by one more notch. As you can see, I'm taking off the black consistently, so I know I found the factory edge. I'm going to keep going until I can't see any of that burr anymore, and then we're going to step to the next diamond. I apologize if you can hear the baby up there. My wife's a trooper. She's totally just putting the baby to sleep. Who's not having a good day. Well, I get to show you guys how to take care of your knife. How cool is she? Give her a thumbs up. Let her know in the comments that you appreciate what she's doing for the channel. I know I do. I appreciate you guys watching as well. Thank you very much. Now these last two, you know, they don't feel like they're doing much. You do the majority of your work with the coarse ones, and then this is really what brings the edge out. And this last one almost feels like a strop. It's just smooth. All right, there you go. Factory edge all over again. You know, lastly is something that's long overdue. We're going to replace the pocket clip on this. If I can make a recommendation and you just got this knife or you're thinking about getting it, to me that's like, you know, right out of the box, something that you should change. Right now, half the knife hangs out of your pocket, I feel like, and you know, it's slightly smaller than the Para 2 or the military. It's a little more conspicuous, but if the whole thing's hanging out of your pocket, then, you know, you're still showing it off just the same. So this deep carry clip helps remedy that. We're going to be getting rid of the stock clip. It's a decent clip. It holds well, but I mean, as you can see, you just have so much of this hanging out of your pocket. You know, you got about an inch of this hanging out of your pocket. And you know, if you're like me, you got the Para 3 because you wanted this to be a little bit more inconspicuous. And if half of it's hanging out of your pocket, you know, that defeats the purpose. So there's a couple companies out there that make excellent alternatives. The one that caught my eye, that's pretty well received in the knife community, is Lynch Northwest. They have a Doberman as their logo, so obviously they're right up my alley. I ended up getting from Casey Lynch a clip. You get extra screws as part of this as well. Thank you letter and some swag. So, you know, he's doing it right. Personalized thank you, made in the USA. So checks off all those boxes. They give you extra screws in here. Now what they give you actually are very small Allen screws. So, and that's in place of the Torque screws that come with it. It's a titanium deep carry clip. Now there's multiple variants of this. This one actually is specific for the Para 3, and it allows for tip-up carry. You select either right or left hand, and it allows you to clear the lanyard hole. Because obviously once this moves up, you're going to have the lanyard hole right in the way, which is something unique to the Para 3 that wasn't a problem with the PM2. This, I believe, is a T6 Torx. Now you'll notice that they didn't lock these on with red Loctite. Clearly, by changing this out, you know, you're not going to damage anything. Now what they tell you to do on this, they say to put the screw in the top hole and line that up and rotate the clip out of the way and then just get it taut. And then rotate the screw in place. And I think that's because there's tension on this clip now. And it keeps everything aligned. But I'll flip the knife over and get the other two started. Now they have plenty of different finishes, so you can customize this as you like. I ended up going with the, I believe it was the bead blasted titanium, and that's because I wanted it to blend in a little bit more. You know, the shiny pocket clip obviously matches at best, but I don't really want to draw attention to it if I don't have to, so there you go. You know, I think it looks great. The whole thing sits a lot lower now. You know, now not even 1/3 of an inch is what's sticking out of your pocket, so much better in that department. Ever so slightly lighter, makes for a great package. You know, it's just that simple. 3 easy things that ensure you have many years of enjoyment from the knife and to make sure that it'll serve you well. As always, if you enjoyed this, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you want to see more content. It's the only way that I'm going to grow the channel, and I do appreciate it. So thanks again for watching. Be safe and be well. I'll see you on the next one.